for your heart, healing for your home. The Redeemed Marriage Podcast.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. I think this is going to be our last summer shorts. And I don't know that it's really summer shorts other than it might be short. It may not. Who knows? But we don't have a question today.
We don't.
It's just wrapping up our summer shorts.
We had some to choose from.
Oh, we have a lot of questions.
But we changed our mind.
Yeah, so this episode will be coming out on Monday, July the 27th, 2026.
2026.
2026.
Yeah.
We were married on July the 27th, 1996.
Yeah.
30.
So that math.
Do the math.
30
years of marriage. Today for them.
Yeah.
Not today for us.
That's right.
But we did get a chance to go celebrate a little bit. We're also going to celebrate a little bigger, like September-ish.
Yeah.
But we had a
And
great...
we are going to dinner tomorrow night.
Yeah.
We're going to go to our favorite steak restaurant around these parts.
But we had a great little anniversary getaway, and it was awesome. We took a drive up to Hot Springs, Arkansas, stayed in a treehouse cabin. Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. And you crushed it, by the way. You know, so I'm not really one of those cabin with the, logs like Little House on the Prairie and the old school country fried decorations. I like more of a modern treehouse, and you found one. It was so good.
You said country fried. Some people out there are going, I live in that. And I'm
not talking about your house for sure.
Well, it was great. It was great to get away. We put our phones on silent. We didn't answer a lot of stuff unless it came from our family.
Yep.
And so it was great. And
we went hiking.
We did a nice little.
I'm a little sore.
5-mile hike up into the mountains. They call it. They are mountains.
They are compared to Mississippi.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was very pretty. So great time, and we got to stroll around the little downtown area. Had a good time. So, but we just knew that I feel like we wouldn't be faithful to our regular listeners or really even to ourselves if we didn't take the opportunity, because this anniversary falls on the day that a podcast is being released, and it's significant not because woohoo we made it 30 years. I mean, 30 years is big for anybody.
Yeah,
anybody that says that they can celebrate years and years and years of marriage and staying together is a huge thing. But for us, it's even more significant, and people know this because we're coming up on the 15th anniversary of your confession.
Right.
And so, that's in less than a month.
Right.
Which actually, you can figure it out. And like our 15th wedding anniversary back then, I mean, we were in a dark place.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it.
Right.
But we were in a dark place. And our marriage, from year number 15 anniversary, that was the anniversary that after that, it was like, are we even going to be married?
That's right.
So now here we are. It's been 15 years pre-affair, 15 years post-affair.
Yep.
And I just think it's significant. And I think the significant part of it is that we both would say that our marriage is just completely different.
Yeah.
We're the same married couple, but we have a very, very different marriage. And we're very different people, too. But I asked you, I think, on this trip, I said a couple of different times. I mean, I asked you what did I ask you when we were walking? Like something like, what's been your best, or what's your favorite part of marriage, or what do you have to say about 30 years of marriage?
Yeah. We talked about different things, and I remember you asking me those and those questions, and we got to have good discussion. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. My biggest takeaway from our discussions around it were when I said that I couldn't get over how fast these last 15 years have gone compared to the first 15. And I think that if you're an outsider looking in, it would be the opposite, because these were hard years. I mean, these 15, not all 15, but in these past 15 years have been the hardest time of our lives. And, of course, in the first 15, we had young kids. Well, they were fourth grade and kindergarten when this happened. So they were still young when this happened. But, the baby years are hard, lots of, sleepless nights and things like that. But I would say the hardest thing that we've ever gone through, obviously, as a couple has happened in these last 15 years. And I wouldn't trade these 15 years for the first 15 years for anything. I think that the biggest thing is that we're different people. I was such a selfish person the first 15 years of our marriage. And I can look back and see that. I wouldn't have said that the first 15 years. But I can look back and really see, not only was I very selfish and didn't think of you often, but I made everything about me. And I, wanted all the things, and I expected so much of you, to make me happy and all of those things. I put just way too much pressure on you as a husband, for everything to be perfect in my life, and for, everything to be perfect for the boys. And I just, my happiness depended on you, those first 15 years. And so I wouldn't trade who I am, for the world. And I often think if this version of me was married to the first 15 years version of you, because you were a lot more carefree and, you're still hilarious and lots of fun, but there's some weight in you. And I often wonder if this version would have been better with that version, and if that we would have been, so much happier. But I wouldn't trade the version you are now for anything either. I just think that we have learned a lot, that we have both grown so much in our relationship with the Lord. And we just don't depend on each other for happiness like that, like we used to, because God is our everything. And that doesn't mean that we don't make each other happy, but we just kind of let each other off the hook for those things. And so it's just so much more enjoyable now. And I think that's why these 15 years have flown by. Even though it was the hardest time, that season was in these 15 years, it's just been such a privilege and a joy to walk alongside you these 15 years. And there's times, I even thought about it while we were hiking, that, there's times I would be weird if not, that I look back and think I wish I could have made different decisions. I think about what if the affair, if infidelity had not happened, then what would our 30-year anniversary look like? And I can honestly say, if we had continued the path that we were, I don't think we would be as happy as we are now. I think that that hard times can really, really, really push you towards the Lord. And hard times, it's an invitation. It's a literal invitation for you to lean in and trust the Lord. And I've just learned so much about his faithfulness in these last 15 years that I wouldn't trade it for anything.
One of the things that you kept saying was happiness. And I remember, I think that the first 15 years, some of the things that, when we first got married, we had dated for 7 years and we were ready to get married. And, the honeymoon stage, we had the honeymoon stage. I mean, we enjoyed it and we enjoyed each other. There was, still as a young couple, there were the sparks that continued flying and we had fun together. And I think you even even mentioned that I was a little more carefree, but I also think I was a bit naive too. Like I just was, and part of that was I thought I was better than everybody. We just grew up in that culture. And so I don't know. It was a weird, I mean, we were young, we were very immature, but everybody is as they're growing. But I also, as our marriage grew, I do remember you saying more and more, I'm not happy, or you're not making me happy. And like, those are things that are really, really hard to hear.
Sure.
And, when I don't know that you ever threatened divorce, but I mean, I remember conversations where you attacked in such a way that it was, your job is to make me happy and you're not making me happy anymore. So what are we going to do about this? Am I going to stay? Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't be in this marriage, that kind of thing. And those are words that just are really hard to hear. And I'm saying that because I know I would imagine that a lot of marriages fight in that way, and they bring that up. And I don't know that people realize how damaging that is, just to say those words, you're not making me happy anymore. And I'll say this, I haven't heard you say those words in 15 years. And I'm sure there's been plenty of times where I haven't made you happy in the last 15 years, but you have come to understand that that's not my job and it's not my responsibility to make you happy. Now, in the same breath, we can both say, yeah, but these last 15 years, even as hard as some of those first years of the 15 were, it's still the happiest years of our marriage. And so there's something to be said there that, we both sort of took our eyes off of, you got to make me happy. And we made sure that our joy comes from the Lord. And then it just frees us up to really serve each other, but also take each other off the hook for making each other happy. And I think then we just want to make each other happy.
Right.
I mean, I just think about like this weekend, and we had a great time, and I planned a lot of stuff, and I mean, I completely took you into consideration for all of that. And I just wonder, like 15 years ago after confession, I just wonder if you would have said, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think it's going to be like when if you make it 15 more years, what's that anniversary?"
You mean right after confession?
Yeah, what's that anniversary going to be like? I mean, I wouldn't have thought that it would be like it was.
Sure.
And if you were sitting down at dinner, because we're going to go to our nice restaurant, do you even remember what we did on our 15th wedding anniversary?
No.
I mean, I don't need. I actually think we
probably
sort of celebrated with your family. Like we all went out, and I just remember because there was some weird stuff that kind of happened there, which was all, I have this weird recollection of things because 3 weeks later, the bomb was dropped on me, and so for from that point on, I started retracing all of these steps.
Sure.
And so,
signs that you had missed.
Yes, and there was so much, and even, I do remember we went to celebrate for some reason, and I think there's lots of birthdays that are kind of at the same time. And so the family,
there's 2 family members that are close.
So the family was all kind of together celebrating, and I think we just kind of counted that as it. But there was some stuff in there that just I'm reminded of it, and I figured you would not remember that at all. But if we were sitting down, just the two of us, that night, 2011, July 27th, what would you say to yourself? What would you say?
Gosh. Well, first of all, I was in the middle of having an affair. And so
yeah. Well, I mean, because I've thought about that, because like for me, I think that if I was sitting there, like if today my today self sat there, the thing that I would say is, I would say buckle up.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what's about to hit you. But then I would also say, but don't give up.
Yeah.
Because 15 years later, if you could see 15 years into the future, you would take every step.
Well, and you would look and know that God is real because it's a miracle that we are where we are. Yeah, that wasn't a fair question because I don't think I would have had nice things to say to myself 15 years ago.
No,
So,
I
mean, now I could have said to you, just don't leave. Like it's gonna be worth it. Like, please stay. Because my talking to myself would have looked completely different. So,
but you don't say those mean things to other people that you talk to.
No.
When you talk to them, even though you have some of those feelings because you're like, this is who I was, so I want to tell you these things.
Sure.
But you're not mean to them.
No. And I mean, I would just
You'd be mean to you just because it was you.
Well, I mean, I would just say you're believing a lie. And, that's it. I mean, that's the bottom line. I was, believing a lie that was not truth at all. I was looking through a lens that was not truthful. So, yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. But for me, like, honestly, I think more, when I think about that question, I think more of what I would say to you. Because for me to look at me, like, it's just so, it's so surreal to think back to who I was 15 years ago. Like, I honestly do not even recognize that person. And I look and think, and we've talked about this so many times, but I'm like, how did I get there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did I get there? Like, how did I get to that moment? How did I get to that thing? And it's just, it's painful. It's real. It's painful to look back but it's good to look back and remember how I felt, because we walk along so many people that are feeling that way currently.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, as sad and hard as that, season was, and you look back and it's, I don't want to relive it. Like you say, what would you say to yourself? I'm like, I don't even want to think about being there because it's hard and it hurts. And it just seems like it was such a dark time for me. And what I was experiencing and what I was believing to be true. And, but looking back on it, I can see how God was faithful even through that, like even through the darkest of days. Even looking back, to the 15 years during that, engagement into that anniversary season. I just think that, I know God had his hand on you, and he was preparing you, and he was readying you, and he was strengthening you, to know, like, just exactly what you said. This is coming, be ready. And I'm just so thankful, that he did, and that you didn't give up on me. And, I laid in bed 2 nights ago and really just thought about what our life could have looked like if you didn't stay. And I know you always say you had a decision too, and I did. I mean, I could have left, but you had the harder decision, for sure. And you didn't give up, and you kept fighting, and you kept pushing, and you kept believing. And I just look at our precious family and our growing family, and just get overwhelmed sometimes that it could have been different. And that it came down to just a few choices that you had and that I had. And so 15 years ago, the choice that you made, the very first step in staying, led us to where we are now. And I'm super, super grateful for this anniversary. I look forward to be able to say we've been married longer now than we were, prior to, because it's just like, we've talked to people, we've done a couple of interviews, and that's what they want to know. Like, how long ago was this? And when we say 15 years, it's like, oh, I mean, there's some solidness. Is that a word to say? And it was 15 years ago, and we've made it. Like, we've made it longer now than we did even before. So
there's been people that didn't necessarily want to talk to us, or I mean, even I think in coaching and stuff, like you want somebody that has not just lived through, the tornado and the hurricane and all of that that's involved in those first few years, but because there is a time where everything settles down, and I also think that it could become easy to stop working so hard, stop paying so much attention, because you kind of just feel like, we made it. And I don't think, well, I know, like, we just have never done that. And, we still just talk about, but this weekend we just had a good time. We really didn't talk about marriage ministry or anything. We stayed off of social media. And that was intentional, because most of the time when we go places, we are constantly, that's our passion. And so we love it, and we talk about it because it's the thing that's our purpose together in life. And so it's not like it's a drag, like, oh no, here we go. We're going to talk about this again. But it just felt like this was the right time to just, we don't need to think about any of that or talk. But I do feel like we found ourselves a couple of times thinking back and going, just reminiscing and thinking about how far we've come and how different life is now. Yeah. And so that's just to give you guys hope. There's people that are out there that are in the midst of this, and they're in the midst of the really, really hard days. And so, just to be able to look ahead and go, 15 years, is that forever away? It doesn't feel like it for us. Like Heather said, it feels like this has gone by so fast. And when you said that, when we were talking, I think we were on the hike, and you said, it feels like it's gone so fast. And I said, is it because you're happier? Which, there we go, using that word again. And you said, well, yeah, probably, because we are happier. And that's the thing that's crazy too, is even through all of this, and we talk to you guys about how there's still hard things, because we still have triggers and memories, and there's stuff that we have to talk through and remind each other about, and encourage each other, and there's shame and guilt and all of that. But in the midst of that, it's still the happiest days, and we're living the happiest days. And so I want people to hear that. That's the part, when we said, hey, let's talk about our 30th anniversary, and you actually said, do you think people care? and you said, do you think people are going to go, oh, well, good for y'all? But I think that's the message. Yeah. The message is, people care, because they care because they want to see themselves get to that place too. Right. And so hopefully that gives you guys some hope.
Yep. Hey, thanks for staying.
Oh, you're welcome. I thought you were telling our podcast listeners, thanks for staying around to the end.
No, well, that too. Thank y'all for staying. But thanks for staying.
And I'm grateful that you have become the person that you are, because it's the person that I wanted to be married to at year 30. So,
hey, you know what the good thing is? And we talked about this too. Hopefully this is just half.
Yeah.
Of our married life. Like that first 15 years really could just be a fourth of our time together. So let's do a whole nother fourth, and then a whole nother fourth.
At least, right?
60
How old are we?
A marriage? Yeah, at least 60 years.
We're going to live at least way longer than 30 more years.
51. That's...
Oh, we're going bigger than that.
Wait. What? 60, 70, 80, 91?
Huh?
No.
All these people are
Wait,
like, that math ain't
30,
mathing.
60.
I'm 52 years
Okay,
old.
okay,
30
shh,
years from now,
81.
I'm only going to be 82.
Yeah,
You'll be 81.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Let's
still
go,
moving.
yeah.
We're
so
still
it really
kicking.
could be a fifth. A fifth. That may
still
be pushing.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for listening.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next time. Peace.